You implying represent the talent, babe? Slightly. Anyway, let's start saying hello to YouTube and let's get it going. Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to another episode of Coaching the Many. Today, we are going to be talking all about what I've called the Talon Babes, which is Sombra and Widowmaker. Not discounting Moira, but she's slightly less of a babe, I would say. Reaper, somewhat of a babe. Doomfist is a babe, I guess. Like, I mean, he looks good half naked, but still. Sombra and Widowmaker are going to be the primary two. We're going to be mostly focusing on movement as well today, because there's something very, very interesting about this game that I want to sort of highlight first, like, as we begin. Because I was watching this, and it was really bizarre to me, like, watching how this guy moves and how this guy aims, and it's just like, he's moving really slowly, and sort of changing his aim really, really slowly, and how he positions and how he looks and scans for targets. And then I check the email, because I generally will like look through the video and then I'll read through like the email, for like scan the email, watch the video, and then I'll reread the email just to sort of fully get a look once I've figured out, hey, yeah, this game is kind of usable. With this one of the first lines in it is, I come from Counter-Strike. He started out as a Counter-Strike player. And suddenly it all makes so much sense. And you're going to see it pretty much immediately that this guy isn't clearly not an Overwatch player just by how he moves, how he aims, and how he operates in Overwatch. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually, like, I want to sort of try and hammer out and like break these habits you might have from from Counter-Strike and like from other games that rules that don't apply in Overwatch. Overwatch is much more, it's not quite arena shooter. I know that if I call Overwatch an arena shooter, there'll be some people out there that would try and friggin' lynch me, but it operates on more arena shootery mechanics. It's less realistic in terms of how its movement works and how its mobility operates. There's no aim spread, there's nothing like that. It's just very, very simple, especially with Widowmaker. If you right-click and bring up the scope, you are 100% pixel perfect accuracy at all times. Doesn't matter if you're moving, flying, jumping, spinning in circles, you are 100% accurate. This isn't the case in Counter-Strike, where movement, especially with snipers, causes a lot of issues. So movement in Overwatch is a lot more free, it's a lot more sort of liberal in how it works. Now the map is Temple of Anubis, as you can no doubt tell. Temple of Anubis is absolutely fine for Widowmaker. Widowmaker is actually a very, very strong pick on this map. There's a lot of sightlines you can abuse, there's a lot of very powerful things you can do. But it being low silver, my advice is, hey, thank you, Tranquility. Much appreciated, my man. Thank you so much, Tranquility. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Get some scrub hype going for Tranquility in the chat, beautiful. Right. Words, things. Yeah, you'll see this use a lot, like you'll see Widowmaker use a lot of the highest level. Now, because this is low ranks, what I'll say is the meta is dubiously relevant. What I'll also say is this is an interesting crosshair. Personally, I would just prefer to see just the green dot without the sort of the transparent circle. That's just sort of me. So it's kind of like a green boob. Personally, I would just go with the green dot. Don't obfuscate anything. But like even this movement here, like we're crouching and shooting. Why are we crouching? There's no actual need to crouch here. You can just move freely and then just line up your shots. And the thing that this person does a lot is they line up their shots. They are very much like a sort of scan player. They'll just look for shots and then line them up very slowly. And you can see sort of how they're firing, how they're moving. It's like very, very slow. The aim is sort of sluggish, and it sort of just tracks onto a target and then fires, tracks onto a target and fires, tracks on. It's quite elegant. But it's not practical in a game like Overwatch, where what you'll find is this will start getting outpaced the higher and higher rank you go. Now, the big thing I'll advocate is be accurate and then be quick. Okay, accuracy comes first. Accuracy is going to be more important, but quick sort of comes into it more and more and more and more as you go further down the line. Now, the big thing that you'll notice here is that we're running into this Orisa Torbjorn. We're having a really hard time of it. We're not going to be able to break that Orisa barrier on our own. We need to wait for the team to sort of be doing stuff, and then we'll be able to kill things. So we've got to sort of wait for that Orisa barrier and sort of the stuff hidden behind the barrier to be vulnerable, and for people to actually move in, and then we can be more effective. We pull back, we go for a cheeky jump shot. Looking for the Junkrat. Honestly, I'm fine doing this, just pulling away, getting rid of the Junkrat. Just getting him off that high ground, because if he's up there, he's going to be causing problems, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, it was surreal to me, because I was watching this, and it was just like, this really does look like a Counter-Strike player. Now, the one thing I'll call into question is the fact that we sort of backed out super quickly on the old groupie-uppy. So it's like, we've started doing here, and we've seen that people are dying. We're making sort of a technically correct decision, but not fully correct decision, which is 2 people are dead here. We're not going to do much of a push. Like, we're never going to be pushing, but if people are fighting over here, where do you think the enemy attention is going to be? Where is the enemy going to be paying attention to? Where's the enemy going to be focused? Well, they're going to be focused probably this direction. Like, they're still focused on cleaning up whatever's left over here. We have sight lines here. And their team has nothing that really piques us very well. Like, they don't have anything that can sort of snipe us out. They have a Torbjorn, a Bastion, and a Orisa, a Junkrat. That's not going to snipe us out. So as Widowmaker, there's no reason why we don't actually just start peeking, taking shots here. What you can also do is you can actually get on top of these statues, I do believe, if you're very careful with how you position. You can even take some shots from there. Like, there's a Junkrat on the high ground that you could be shooting at right now instead of just spamming at the Soldier 76 and spamming group up. We could just be a little bit more sort of active in what we're doing and looking for a couple of picks. So that's kind of what I would like to see. This is a Junkrat just being very, very aggro, punished instantaneously. Again, just like we have like an angle here, and I know that we're nervous and we're a little bit scared, but there is an angle here. Like, people are moving around. This is sort of the sort of thing you want to be exploiting with Widowmaker, is when people are moving around in spaces like this. There's the Orisa barrier here, but people are still moving through this space here where they're vulnerable. So we can still get things done. There's no reason for us actually to be as scared as we are. Like, we're super, super nervous. We're super scared, and we're like paranoid almost about taking damage and getting killed because, like I said before, it's that Counter-Strike mentality of sort of being very careful. If you die, you die. And even now, it's like we can see where the threats are. We can see where the enemies are. Yet we're so cautious about how we're deploying and how we're moving. It's surreal to watch. It's really, really bizarre. Because we could be way more active, right? This movement here where we press Q, instantaneously we could see where the threats are. Like, we know immediately, okay, there's a Torbjorn in his turret here, there's an Orisa here, and there's a Bastion here. The Orisa might not, not the Orisa, the Moira might, or Mercy, I think, might not show up amazingly, but it's here. I think now you can tell sort of it's more of Moira. It'll be easier to tell in game. But we can be so much more active here. Like, the Torbjorn turret isn't going to kill us anytime soon. We can actually out DPS it from range, and we can even start working on the Torbjorn. We know where it is. We can pre-fire, pre-aim, and just easily whittle it down. And we end up doing so. We end up killing the Torbjorn, which is great. But it's just a little bit sluggish. Jump shot doesn't quite work out. Feels bad, man. And like that shot there, like, it looks so elegant, but it's so slow. Now, luckily, because this is silver, people move in straight lines and they just walk around, and it's hilarious. Like, the Junkrat literally just stood still. Like this is where my, like, come on. This is where I want to highlight movement, right? This is where I really want to highlight movement, because holy moly, like, movement is so important in Overwatch. Like, being mobile, being agile, because there's no penalties to movement. There's nothing to stop you just moving around and getting a lot of work done. And so seeing like this, where he just walks out and stops, like, there's no reason for this Junkrat to ever stop. He can just move around as much as he likes. And then we just blow his head off regardless. Again, some clean shots on the Bastion, just keep putting bullets in him. And honestly, as Widowmaker, this is where we want to be. This is where we're powerful. The ideal, right, the ideal, and because this is silver, this isn't happening at this point, is that the Reinhardt will just push in, and like the Winston can just push in as well. Like, these tanks should be just mobilizing the point. We've got a lot of good kills. We've basically blown the point open. Our team should be mobilizing pretty heavily towards the point. We can start mobilizing too, and start sort of causing some problems. I'm fine with us being on this mid-tier little area. This is fine. Interesting to note that the Orisa doesn't stay behind the barrier. Like, we actually managed to shoot her. The big thing with Orisas is, please, if you are playing Widowmaker, let's headshot the Orisas. Like, just look at the melon on this girl, because it is pretty enormous. Like, this is an easy headshot for us. So if you're going to be taking these shots regardless, it is worth just correcting ever so slightly and just going for those headshots, because it does make a big difference when you're hitting a target like Orisa. Widowmaker has a 3 times multiplier on her headshots. Like, she headshots for a lot more than most heroes do. And it would just be nice to do. And again, like, these shots just feel a little bit slow. And I think the way that we correct this sort of sluggishness is what I want you to do. And you'll see this quite a lot. And actually, I'm going to sort of do something a little bit different. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to try loading up Overwatch while I explain this point. There's a way that you'll see pros warm up and like people warm up using training bots. And I don't say, like, don't go and do the Ana training because there's no point. Or there's like limited point to it, but there's actually something you can do which is similarly effective, but not as effective as the Anabot stuff. 2.5 times, yeah, whatever. You get the idea. It's a big multiplier because it's 120 times 2.5 for 300. I know the numbers on the top of my head, not the multiplier. Isn't headbutt in the shield? I don't think so, because considering that he's landing shots. Because with his wife, who doesn't even know the numbers. I know the numbers, I just don't bother with the multiplier. Like, bleh. Okay, Overwatch is loaded. Let's go over here. All right, this is Overwatch. Okay, training, practice range. right? And what you'll see people do to warm up is this kind of thing. And what I recommend to this person is just get used, by the way. Well, Dynasty rep. Because who doesn't want to be flatter? You'll see people like do this for the warm-up, right? And they'll just sort of bounce around in the practice range and just try and get these very, very quick shots off. And speed is what I want you to focus on. Is like the moment you think that you're either doing about 50% damage on a body shot, or you are able to get a kill with a headshot, just go for the headshots and just go try and sort of get used to being quick, okay? Because what I want you to do as well is move while doing it. Don't just stand still and just like track slowly across the target and then take the shot. I want crosshair on target and then shot landing. Now this might sound like, oh, well, you're just telling this guy to flick when he obviously tracks. I'm not a flicker, okay? I actually don't flick shot. I do a lot of tracking shots with my aiming. The bot just randomly decides to go left. But the ability to sort of very quickly land a headshot is integral to playing good Widowmaker, because very rapid adjustment in your aim is going to make the difference, especially when it starts getting to Widow versus Widow, because whoever lands that headshot first is going to make the difference, right? So this is why I also say accuracy matters more, because landing the headshot is more important, but then getting quicker at doing it. And the biggest issue I see with this person is that our movement is very, very slow and sort of a bit sluggish, and that our aiming is slow as well. Like, the way that this person aims is it's like scope comes up, target gets acquired, mouse sort of tracks him for a second, and then shot is fired. Where it needs to be crosshair, scope comes up and shot is fired, like pretty much quick, snappier. And then you'll notice just the difference in the rate of movements, basically, in terms of like how long the target is actually in the crosshair and how long I wait before firing, because that's where the difference is made. That ability to just sort of snap off a shot very quickly and get a kill is going to make a huge difference. So the biggest thing, again, just to finalize the point, just to sort of reiterate for the final time, kill the habit of that slow movement. Like, this is not Counter-Strike, and you don't have to be careful with how you move. You just have to be careful with how you position, and sort of your aim. And so the priority isn't like this why are we crouching? There's actually no reason to crouch in this instance. We can actually just sort of fire these shots off. This is an interesting moment because we're trying to kill the Mercy. Don't bother with the Mercy. Okay? I say this almost universally. It's very, very rare that firing at the Mercy is going to make a big difference. The reason why is good Mercies. This Mercy isn't really moving very well because she's just sort of statically flying back and forth. Good Mercies, we use Guardian Angel to kind of rocket around at turbo speed. It is not worth doing. Even playing Widowmaker, like one of the things I highlight in the video I did with Dallas Fuel and Seoul, Dallas Fuel and Seoul is, like, literally Fleta has a hard time hitting Chips Haryan. Like, Chips Haryan activates Valkyrie, and one of the best Widowmakers in the world misses the shot repeatedly on this Valking Mercy. Like, that's how bullshit Valkyrie is. So yeah, what you will find almost universally is that landing shots quickly will, on targets that don't move as well, will make all the difference. And sort of this Mercy movement really highlights it to me, and sort of highlights that there's an issue, which is, like, we're trying to go for the headshot on this. The reality is 2 body shots would have worked just fine. Okay? Like, Mercy is somewhat difficult to headshot, and honestly, you should just be trying to aim here. And you should just see her, fire body shot, see her again, fire body shot, and she's dead. Instead, we take this, like, really, really careful. We fire a shot there. That first shot looks okay, and then the second shot is just this very slow aim where we're trying to line up these headshots, when really, there is no shame in being a body shot god. In Overwatch, the movement is so quick, people have so many mobility abilities, there's so much healing, there's so many barriers. Just getting damage out is more important than you would expect. Because at the end of the day, if you were just doing nothing but body shotting every 1 second, Widowmaker does 120 DPS. That's actually pretty good compared to most heroes. That's more than good enough to make a huge difference. So don't be afraid to just continually and consistently land body shots. And especially at this level, I would say that is way more important than trying to land clutch headshots every, once in a blue moon. For statistics' sake, to sort of explain, my body shots are usually 50. Well, my shot ratio is 50 to 55%. My critical hit ratio is usually at about 15%. Just to put it into context. And I'm a bit of a body shot god, but I just value that ability to put damage out consistently. Now that was a nice shot. Good job. Like, just good position. Take an aim. Fire in. cleaning up. You've got a couple of options here for point B. Widowmaker drops off a little bit here on point B, so it's a little bit tricky, but you have two basic options here. So let's just highlight that just to cover the basics, which is that you can either go up here onto this high ground here, which is very, very central, very, very vulnerable. If you're doing that, wait, well, have a bit of a scout out, have a peek, see where their team is. The other option you can actually take is up here as well. There's a platform on top of these pillars, and you can stand up there and get a lot of good shots from that angle. You can also cover the spawn from there as well. It's pretty nice. You can see, oh, they have Widow now. I like the cheeky spray as well. So good job, you've eliminated the target. And again, this is where sort of this slow movement, these slow shots start coming in. Again, it's an Orisa. This is sort of, in my mind, Orisa is one of the few exceptions where it's worth lining up the headshots just because she is sort of that big and tanky, and she's easy to headshot because she's just got a big old melon for a head, and she's slow, she's got predictable movement, all that kind of stuff. I like the fact that you started shooting at your own Zenyatta just to ask for some healing. Obviously, it's fine. You press the I need healing button regardless. Take your time. Just land body shots on fire. It's okay. One out the Widow. Again, like this sluggish sort of headshot movement, and this is where like the Counter-Strike aiming sort of comes into it, where it's like in Counter-Strike it just feels more important to sort of land the headshot or just like be sure that you're landing the shot. In Overwatch, it's more important just to take the shot and just to sort of get the bullet onto the person, because if you're doing that, you're doing damage, you're putting pressure out, and that's going to make a big difference in the long run. So just basically fire that a little bit faster. And like why did we sacrifice that shot? Why didn't we pull the trigger here? This is a Reaper killing the shit out of your tanks. And it's like we have a crosshair on him, and it's like our tracking is smooth, right? I just want to highlight, like, our aim isn't necessarily bad. And this is the weird thing. It's like, hey, you know, you hear low Silver Widow, you expect to see missed shots non-stop. Ooh, right in the crotch. It's gonna hurt. But, like, our crosshair's on him. Crosshair's on him almost all the time, and then we just don't fire. And then we sort of look at the fire, and it's like, and to me, it's like this mental process of, oh, I need to use this bullet to hit the fire, but you don't. You really don't. You still have 7 more shots with your rifle. Like, you have 7 more bullets in the chamber. You just need to do a little bit of... Okay, now you have Rain is logged into Overwatch. There you go. You have 7 more shots in the chamber. Like, do damage to this Reaper. That's 120 damage. That's almost half his hit points gone. And yet we just don't take the shot. And it's sort of, like, it's baffling to me. It's really baffling to me to just sort of watch this and... Yeah, and then we kill him. And Reaper on the point is a really big deal. Like, we want to get rid of him. It's probably more important to clear Reaper off than the Fire off, to be honest, because Reaper is really, really good. I really like the fact that Doa just started calling him, again, Counter-Strike aiming. I will keep highlighting this and harping on about this, because it looks really silly to the view of an Overwatch player when you start seeing this. Basically, but yeah, Reaper, like, I liked it when Doa called him, like, the janitor of Overwatch, which he is. He sweeps up, he comes in and he just cleans up. And that's really, really true on Temple of Anubis. Again, Crosshair's on her for a good half second before pulling the trigger, and it's like, we're crouching as well. Like, why are we crouch? There is no need to crouch here. No need at all. You move faster when you're standing up, and you're not any less vulnerable or any less likely to be shot. So it's weird, because it's like our aim is fine. Our aim seems good. It's just the way we are firing is just slightly wrong. It's so strange to see. And it's like, you will be able to carry away, I think, with Widowmaker out of this MMR pretty reliably if we just fired faster. If we just stopped moving so slowly and carefully and methodically with our positioning and just started just putting bullets into people, it will make all the difference. Because right now, in my mind, what isn't Genji more fitting to be the janitor? Reaper cleans up better. Reaper cleans up amazingly. Anyway, words. Sorry, chat's distracting me. Thingy thing. I think the thing I want to highlight is this. In Overwatch, compared to Counter-Strike, in Counter-Strike, getting the kill matters a huge amount, right? Getting the kill matters so much in Counter-Strike. Because in Counter-Strike, if you get a kill on someone, they're dead. They're out of the fight. That's a huge swing. In Overwatch, they're dead, sure, but they're dead for about 10 to 15 seconds. Like, 15 to 20 seconds more realistic with respawns and runtime. But it's not like the clincher. And what you'll find is what wins team fights is just raw damage output. Like, oftentimes the team that does the most damage will win the team fights. That's no big surprise, that's no great shock. So yeah. Ooh, was that a subtle edit? Ooh, I like the subtle edit. There we go. It's like everyone just teleports into place. This man has time powers. Okay, we got a Sombra. We got a spicy Sombra. Interesting translocator position. Moira's on both sides. Oh, he didn't. Why didn't he pick up the health pack? Why did he not pick up the health pack? So I'm curious about this translocator. Okay, let's talk about Sombra. Let's talk about the flow of Sombra. Let's focus on Sombra. So we're doing the right thing. Hacking this health pack is a-okay. Fine. I don't like the way we throw our translocator. It's a very defensive position with our translocator. In my mind, you're better served. Basically, you can do this one of two ways. Actually, that was fine where we were. Back a little bit now, for fuck's sake. This translocator like doesn't set us up for anything. Where we want to have it is honestly up here. So hack this, run this way, throw your translocator here, and then stealth out and go out. The reason why is because we want to be setting up to take and flip the next health pack, which will probably be the one up here. You could, in theory, try and flip this one, but it's risky because if they pull in and you try and hack and you try and translocate back to it, but they've gone this way and gone for this route, going up towards the high ground, you are just going to die. So it's safer to just do this one. It's either that you start up here and you throw the translocator down to here, and then hack this health pack. But what you're doing is you're making sure that after you first translocate, you're set up already for basically a free hack. It's mad to me that this guy didn't just pick up the health pack. Guys, just pick up the health pack if you're that low. Otherwise, this happens. Easy first kill for us. And so what would be nice at this point is if we had set up our translocator appropriately, we would be sort of getting ahead on the ult charge already. Because what you would do is you just run over, hack the health pack, and then pick it up. And you would get about 10% more charge, which is going to make a big difference. You ever want to hack it first? Okay, translocator somewhere. We should be more active than this. Again, this sort of weird moment of downtime, this I think counter-strikey mindset of like, oh, well, I'm going to hold this corner and just position and wait and see. You don't have to do that when playing Sombra. We can just hack this, throw the translocator somewhere where it's going to be useful, and then just peek out and stealth through, and then start building our ult charge. Because what the goal here is to have our EMP by the time that the enemy is starting to fight on the point. If we don't have our EMP by that time, then we've messed up, basically. So we want to just make sure that we are continually building this EMP up. There's a good target for us. Nice. Kill's a kill. Honestly, didn't even need to use... Actually, did we need to use that translocator? No, we didn't. Like, this is where it confuses me. We still have a good 7 seconds. We're on 200 hit points. There's no need to use this translocate just because Mercy turned around. You can just put a couple more bullets into her. We're not actually looking to even kill the Mercy in this instance. We're more looking to just build ult charge. In this instance, you see Soldier 76 with the Discord orb and he's on half hit points. Don't bother hacking him. Just kill him. I'm fine with the hack on the Diva. Slightly risky translocate. The reason why I'll say this is a risky translocate is because basically we aren't 100% sure of what's through here. Let's say, for sake of argument, that if you try and do... Basically, you want to be making sure that you're throwing your translocator somewhere safe. Okay? Somewhere safe isn't over there. Somewhere safe is more towards the point or back towards the sort of the high ground up here once again. So you know you're getting out nice and safe. Because knowing Silver, there could be a Roadhog in here. Like, you don't know. You don't know what's in there. We haven't had a good sort of vision into there. You could be jumping into something dangerous. This is a free Mercy. Please kill it. Okay, Moira's helping it. Hey, the translocator's in the location I like. Good. Okay. Nice. Okay, take it easy, take it easy. Honestly, yeah, just... Shh. Just take it steady. Stand on the health pack. Throw your translocator somewhere. This is where you just panic and throw it. Good. Basically, just interesting little numbers about Sombra, just little sort of numerical details. You can beat, like, if you're on full hit points and the Winston doesn't land on you, you can generally beat a Winston by standing on a health pack and just fighting him. Diva, you can't. Diva, you won't be able to take that fight. When she's on nearly, well, when she's on about half hit points, don't worry too much. Honestly, you could just stay and fight her at this point. As long as we dodge appropriately, we kill her here. So, just clean her up. This might be an intentional stall, but honestly, I don't think stalling's really worth it at this level. I don't think it's going to make the biggest difference in the world. Technically, yes, you should be sort of leaving the baby Diva alive, I suppose, but let's not worry too much about that sort of thing at Silver, shall we say. Just to highlight, you know, small detail before we decloak here, let's just throw the translocator. It's a weird thing and it sounds oddly paranoid, but the worst thing that could happen is that you die. Like, you don't want to die when you're holding onto EMP. This is sort of a big detail, which is kind of important, which is that Sombra, at higher levels, it's all about the EMP. It's absolutely 100% about EMP. Everything you do should be centered around this EMP. Kills are kind of secondary. They will happen if you are good, and especially if you're good at aiming. They will start happening more and more and more, especially on targets like Junkrat, although Junkrat's a little bit dangerous, and especially current patch, Junkrat can kill you from 100% to 0 with basically 4 clicks of his mouse. It's pretty easy to do. Actually, 2 clicks of his keyboard and 2 clicks of his mouse, I suppose. You want to be very, very careful of engaging Junkrat. So there's just no harm in throwing the translocator early and then engaging the Junkrat. So if he does start hitting us, we just back off. Hey, we're okay. This is extremely aggressive. And again, not really our job. We honestly shouldn't be taking these kind of direct fights. Sombra is not built for this kind of direct fighting. At higher levels, you will be punished badly for doing stuff like this. Basically, Soldier Mercy versus Sombra, or Soldier Mercy versus Sombra plus Health Pack. Spoiler, Soldier Mercy should win that one every single time. Soldier does more damage than you, has better burst than you. Mercy can provide damage out. Mercy has amazing healing. It's going to be hard to kill a Mercy as well, because Soldier's healing field will impact there. This is not a fight you win. And we've just jumped into it without any escapes. Luckily, the Soldier spends all his time sprinting around and then backs off and doesn't actually shoot at us, which is a lovely relief. If he just shot at us, I think they'll be fine. And yeah, we end up sort of doing okay here. I like the manual hack, like onto the Moira ult. That's fine. If you can EMP this Mercy, that'll be huge. It's unfortunate that we sort of end up panic EMPing the Soldier 76. EMP actually really does diddle Valkyrie. Because I got the volume turned so low, I didn't hear the Valkyrie activate. But if you hear Valkyrie go off, do not be afraid to sort of make that a priority to hack it or EMP it. And in this instance, I'd say that once they start committing ults, I'm going to turn up the volume because I want to hear exactly when these ultimates go off. Like, one of the big questions is, you know, when do I use my EMP? Like, you would have honestly been okay in that. Like, now Valkyrie's been used, you would absolutely be okay throwing your translocator to end up here and then EMPing. Because what you want to do is just kill the enemy team's momentum. Just kill it completely. Stop them doing anything they want to do. EMP will block Mercy's ability to get reses off, so any kills you get will be permanent. It'll also stop them committing more resources, because that tends to be what happens when support ults get used, is people start committing more and more and more and more, and you'll just very easily sort of clean this up. The key thing is just to make sure you get that Mercy, though, because that'll make the kills permanent, and then your team can just deal with the Mercy in your own time. That looks like a lost first point to me. I've got to apologize as well for my throat. I'm a little bit under the weather. I've been kind of like, I think I've just got like a respiratory thing. Because I've been a bit breathless as well. Something's taken my breath away. The Overwatch League's taken my breath away, I suppose. But sort of just generally headachy and tired, although when aren't I? To be honest. It's a good free kill into the Junkrat. I don't know what he was doing. I'm going... Like, guys, if you're on half hit points, and you're on your own... Like, what's the plan here? I've just killed Junkrat. I'm going to 1v5 their entire team, even though my team hasn't finished taking first point yet. This is the plan. No. You call not to go in. He's like, in terms of his general game sense, like the coachy, he gets it. He knows to group up. He's maybe a little bit too passive when he's sort of waiting for the group up. Again, I think that's just the Counter-Strike like slipping in. This is someone who I think is just knows FPS to an okay level and just needs to get used to how Overwatch flows. And I think once that happens, they'll be fine. Because most of these 1v1s, they're winning. So I reckon with time, this should just like all start clicking together and just very easily flowing. It's just breaking habits from Counter-Strike and transitioning more towards Overwatch's more aggro and active playstyle. Do not be afraid to EMP aggressively as well. This is what I'll say. EMP... Actually, okay, you should have EMP by this point. This is why I'm confused. Because... we're engaging, we're engaging. Translocator's running out, so we just back off. Okay, so this I don't like. So let's focus on the game again. This I do not like. We should go and pick up a health pack instead of using the spawn, because that's just better for us. We have the important health pack, the sort of the major one, which is this one. As long as you have this one, you're doing okay on Temple of Anubis. The other one to take will be, you can either take the one in main, or basically in general as Sombra anyway, you can flip 3 health packs, so you can try and take the one in main as much as possible, take the one in the tunnel, take the one under the bridge. Just keep control of those 3. And you'll be fine. Otherwise, we're just building EMP as fast as possible. Try and put our focus onto the especially like if you see something like this where it's like a Mercy runs forward and is Discord orbed, this transition instantaneously to this, because this should be the target priority. Killing Mercy, like current meta, this is pre-nerf. I don't know when those nerfs to Mercy are coming through. Sooner the better in my mind. Sorry, Mercy mains, but hey, you're overpowered. Sorry, not sorry. You see something like this, you see a Mercy out of position this much with Discord Orb. Sombra can actually do a lot of good damage, especially at this kind of range, like super close range. You just put the crosshair on the middle of on pretty much the middle of her. You're gonna just wreck her. Don't worry too much about getting headshots. Doesn't matter that much. You want to just wreck her with as many, like put as many bullets into her as possible, because Sombra's gun fires extremely fast, does really good damage. It's got very, very large spread. So hitting more bullets is better than hitting accurate bullets in this case. So, yeah, we're just biding our time. Honestly, the 1 heal pack is enough. Okay, stealth. Contest, contest. No, 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 no. What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, Jesus. Oh. Like, the second we entered stealth here, we had to be running for the point. I don't care that your translocator's down. Like, you're about to lose the point here. Let's stop messing around. Objectives, come on. The bomb has been planted, or whatever. Good EMP, though. Wrong target. Mercy. Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. She's right there. She's got a Discord orb on her. This is when the Zenyatta will be furious. He'll be livid. He'll be absolutely insanely angry. Okay, I want you just to notice how difficult it is to kill this Reinhardt as Sombra without other DPS sort of pitching in with a Mercy healing it, because she's just putting armor back onto him. Sombra versus armor does 0 damage. Like, armor just wrecks her. Completely and utterly wrecks her. Melee, thank you. Let's not talk about that. Well, let's talk about that. But armor just completely and utterly wrecks it. If you see a target with a Discord orb on and doesn't have armor, shoot the target with Discord orb on it and doesn't have armor. Also, don't be afraid to get stuck into the fight here. There's a Transcendence. We should be just getting involved. Brawl. You are safe here. The only thing that could kill you here, I think if Junkrat's still floating around, I don't think he is at this point, but the Reinhardt charge could have, but he missed, so whatever. Let's just get on this Mercy, clean up the Mercy, and from there it gets easy. Probably then the D.Va afterwards. Mercy goes down, D.Va gets demech'd. And honestly, you don't even have to leave the point here. And when you're dealing with a baby D.Va this low, yeah, just melee. Just melee. Melee to finish is extremely important. And somehow you guys lose this. How do you lose this? Like, the thing that you gotta watch for, and what I would say, is like there is a break point, like here, where you could just start meleeing and just finish it off. Stuff like small targets with Sombra's weapon, like small targets like Baby D.Va, Moira, Mercy even as well, I would include in that, Tracer, like these very small slender targets you want to be trying to melee to finish, just to sort of set yourself up, get used to doing that, just to clean those up, because that's going to make a big difference in the long term, your ability to confirm kills. Even now, like, you see that the Reinhardt is really tanky and difficult for us to kill. That's just because of how armor works. If you don't know how armor works, just for reference, what I would recommend is checking the wiki for the specific details, but basically anything that does small pellety damage, like any shotgun, any submachine gun, anything like that, will suck versus armor. It basically reduces the damage of each shot by 5, unless the damage of the shot would drop under 10. So if the damage of the shot is 10, it will drop to 5. Anything beneath that will drop by half, I believe. So if a shot does 9 damage, it'll do 4.5 into armor. If a shot does 5 damage, it'll do 2.5 into armor, stuff like that. At the end of the day, all you need to know is Sombra gun, Tracer gun, Reaper gun, Roadhog gun, Bastion gun, even, like stuff like that, bad versus armor. Someone in chat said he'd make a good Zarya. I agree, actually. I think the flow of the game would take a little bit to read, but yeah, like the tracking seems fine, the aim seems a-okay, and it's genuinely a surprising thing to see coming out of a silver player, where it's like the aim actually looks good. It's a bit slow, it's a bit sluggish, but this doesn't look like a silver player's aiming, and actually, because he presses tab a couple of times, like 44% accuracy. I know these people aren't hard to hit, but hey. Bastion is okay versus that. Would be a Bastion, like long range Bastion drops off, but Bastion does so much friggin' damage anyway, it doesn't matter. But But yeah, you get the idea. Diva gun, bad versus armor, yeah. Like, unless you are, like, in someone's face, even then, it feels, like, compared to shooting someone without armor, it feels shitty. Okay. I relate deeply to this saying, Sombra saying attacking is easier. Yeah. Let's go offensive Sombra. So they have a Pharah, that's a little bit scary, but we have a soldier. The one thing I'll say is stealthing out of spawn isn't actually as useful as you'd expect, and let's talk about why. The only reason to stealth out of spawn is to let them know that you're not playing Sombra, and honestly, the value of that information is pretty limited. I honestly find it better to just walk to here and then be ready to go. So they have Mei Pharah. Have the health pack, just buy the time, pick up the health pack. The only thing we should be prioritizing is building up our ultimate. This is a free Pharah. Guys, I talk about Pharah quite a lot. Let's highlight Pharah here. When you're playing Soldier 7, like, let's just take this screenshot. Let's just take this incident here. Let's just take this image here. Okay? If you're playing Soldier 76 and you're stood like in this space here, right? Or even if you're the Sombra in this case. Let's say you're fighting the Pharah. You wouldn't be standing here if you were playing Sombra or Soldier. You'd be standing more here. And like using this cover, or ideally you'd be using the cover of this wall, right? And this is sort of happy, this is unhappy, right? You don't want to be here. You want to be sort of using this cover to block any damage coming in from the Pharah. The same logic applies to Pharah. You don't subtly ignore cover, you don't just float around in the middle of nowhere hoping not to get shot, because this is how you get shot. And lo and behold, the man gets shot. No. Just no. The Pharah shouldn't be there anyway. She should, like, basically. Okay, I'm completely sidetracked, but this Pharah's annoyed me. Good positions for Pharah, especially on Temple of Anubis. If they start pushing this way, you can just take up position. Like, there's like a wall here. You can just take up position, bouncing over this wall, and you can even just stand on the wall if necessary, and just go back and forth over it. Really, really powerful way of doing things. And then when they get into the room, sort of the next room where it has like all the windows, you can bounce through those windows and really cause problems for people in that room. So you basically, like, most of your team is threatening from this way, so you can threaten from this way. Really, really cool way of doing things. You can also just stand sort of more up here, like floating around up here, and just fire rockets into the room. Just cause problems for them. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Okay, back on Sombra, take the health pack. Now this, like, this is where the translocator we threw the first time, where we threw, oh god, that X is too big. When we threw it like over through here, that's honestly fine when you're on attack. Because you can use that translocator to then get onto the point and then just take the health pack by the point, which is quite a nice one to take. It's more of a denial health pack, but it's a pretty nice deny. Interesting use of the offensive translocator. Okay, the translocator does not do damage when you throw it at Torbjorn's face. And you can't telefrag people. Unfortunately, as cool as it would be, can't be done. Soldier luckily just shoots him, but in that instance, yeah, just friggin' shoot the Torbjorn. Torbjorn's hitboxes, for those of you who aren't aware, Torbjorn basically looks like this. He's a circle for a head, he's got some circle for his feet, he's got some circles for his hands. This is Torbjorn. And this is Torbjorn's head. This is what Torbjorn looks like in the game. Okay, you just put your crosshair there and you will hit him and you will kill him in no time at all. No time at all, especially with support there. So let's not try and clock him in the face with our translocator. Let's just throw that somewhere where it's more useful, and then let's just shoot the bastard. You'd be amazed at how effective this strategy, just shoot him, actually is. May trying to stall this, honestly, works to our benefit. For the love of God, do not EMP, thank you. It's silver, anything could happen. Okay, this is where our ability to judge the team's positioning is huge. Good hack. Just keep putting damage on him, keep putting damage on him. Nice, 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 nice. Small, interesting detail, but very, very important in this instance. There's a gap in the wall here. You can shoot him here. You can shoot through this gap. Just very small thing, but kind of useful to know in this instance, just because there's a risk that, let's say he picks up a health pack and then drops an Earth Shatter. Again, he could have got some fire. Like, I've seen faster shatters come off. If he gets a couple of good fire strikes, he could have one in his back pocket. You never really want to risk it, so just standing here and just beating him is a-okay. I don't know what he was doing there in the first place. Let's just let's just point out the big mistake here, which is when the payload's getting this capped, let it go, as the song says, as the proverbial song says. This Reinhardt, cool Junkrat, clearly thought, oh, maybe I can get there in time. This is his punishment. He thought wrong. Winston's already on the point. I'm okay with this EMP. People are already in position. Let's just focus on fighting. Honestly, job kind of done. Our target focus was a little bit shit, though. Why was our target focus a little bit shit? We EMP. The big thing I want to draw your attention to is literally right here. Now, the thing you should be looking for in this team fight. This team you should be looking for is this big, bright, golden beam. I know we've EMP'd the Moira, but killing the Moira is nowhere near as valuable as killing the Mercy. The reason why is if Moira ults, it kind of sucks. Kind of shitty. If Mercy survives... Oh, look at Mercy too. Anyway, if Mercy survives and Mercy ults, you guys are fucked, basically. It's pretty bad. Like, it's pretty scary. Wow, that face. That... Can I... settings... It's just the main screen? No, that's just my overlay frig. Let me try and find it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Monitor capture. It's just amazing. Just beautiful. Right. Position, size, fit to screen. Okay. Good. So yeah, target focus, just put it on the Mercy. And like honestly, our positioning overall, like we want to be in the middle, like we don't want to be chasing people down at this point because we've used our escapes. We want to be with our team. Just for a moment, just for like a breather or two. The reason why is we don't have any of our escapes. We don't have our translocator, so we're not safe. Well, when we're fighting with our team, we're just safe. So our team's pushing in. We get an EMP onto the point, but we start chasing people down for some reason. When honestly, we should have just stayed on the point and just focused on killing this Mercy off. Because the Mercy survives, reses milk. No crying over spilled milk, I guess. Here all week. And then does go down to Moira. But there is a chance that that Mercy has built up a Valkyrie, gets the reses off, makes all the difference in the world. That's the face Mercy made when she found out about the nerf. I like it. I like the fact that we're using our passive here. Interesting tidbit. So, doing damage. Okay. When Transcendence goes off, our game plan changes. The way we play has to change to adapt to the fact that Transcendence has just gone off for our team. We spot out the Junkrat. I'm actually okay with us sort of poking around here and going this way, but just don't forget that you do actually have the ability to go this way and like just hop across here and then just engage this Junkrat directly. The Transcendence will keep you alive. Unless he like does it perfectly, unless he does his combo with the double nade perfectly, you'll just be fine just engaging him. It's a difficult thing to sort of get into your head if you are new to the game, but just Transcendence just feels safe to do a lot. Like you can get away with a huge amount. His hack priority is good. Seems to be okay. He's hacking the right things. Yeah, I would agree. I just noticed the Lucio holding the team placard. Yeah, this is the new emote. This is Ohm Team. I started the commission today for Ohm. Okay. Story time with Ohm, just to sort of kill a bit of time. So, when talking with artists, like, you can either go through the really laborious process of going, well, I want this, and blah, 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 and spending ages describing in detail what it is you want. But what I did was I just decided, sod it. So, basically, I was like, okay, I just did a childlike drawing of like, hey, yeah, I want something like this. So, it's just Anna being all cheerful and giving a wave. Thank you, chat, as well. Good stuff. Looks really good. I'm really happy with the Ohm Team. It looks just as derpy as I hoped it would be. And it's just like a really childlike drawing of just like, hey, draw it. Jarapants is amazing. Jarapants is amazing. I'm super happy with the emote so far. I'm looking forward to getting more. And then like so that's going to be Ohm High. It's just, you know, a lot better. And then like Ohm Whiff is just Tracer making this face. It's just like, yeah, that's the idea I want. Just like, oh. So yeah. Awesome, right? They should be good when they're actually, you know, properly done. Yeah, good. Josh did a drawing and it didn't look like a penis. Believe it or not, I actually drew as a hobby for a couple of years when I was at university. I like just bought myself some notepad, like some paper and pencils, and just started learning, watched tutorials online. Kian and Lafferty became an artist for Riot for a while. Does really good tutorials. Yeah. Right. Anyway, Right, back to it. Are we sticking with the Sombra? Looks like we are. 5 hours on Moira. Was a Mercy player. Oh, went to the dark side. Nice, I like it. The why would you do this emote? Almost, yeah. I mean, the point of whiff is it's meant to be like kind of an, oh, girl, what are you doing? So it kind of works for multiple things. It's like, Ohm Scrub kind of works for, like, if you're making a snide comment, you know, like, if I wanted to be sort of snide, I could just go like, Hanzo. Like, you know, it works really nicely for that as well, I think. I like these multi-purpose emotes. I think they're really working, so hey. Yeah, this, by the way, this is going to happen a lot in these games, in lower level, just because it's like, I've got, yeah, you haven't got much healing done. Why? Because people don't know to pick up the health packs. If you are willing to go into voice chat, don't be afraid to remind people, hey, they're there for a reason, go pick them up, because they're useful. They are good. They get stuff done. And just say, hey, pick up the health packs. They're there. You can grab them. Okay, this Translocator I'm a lot happier with. I don't like the fact that we pussied out. Do not be like... Let me describe to you the worst case scenario here. Actually, the worst case scenario is like, you jump here, you take a rocket, Zarya right-clicks, someone else fires a shot and you die. That's the absolute worst case. Kind of unlikely. What is kind of likely is what you'll do is you'll run through and you'll just catch a random grenade. Oh no, I've taken 120 damage. You hit the translocate button, go take over the health pack over there, pick it up. You just gained as much ult charge as you would doing damage. And this is why I say like Sombra is very dictated around the ult charge, because what we're doing now is we're just wasting time. And eventually we do just run through it, but we're visible when running through it. And like, we spend so much time doing it that our translocator almost runs out, though we back out again too early. Like, you don't want to translocate without taking some damage. You want to take damage. I know it sounds crazy, but you want to take damage when you're playing Sombra. This was like in the pro zeitgeist for absolutely ages, especially on 2CP maps, where people would basically be told, don't fire, don't fire, don't fire. Whatever you do, for the love of God, do not shoot their team. Because if you do, they're just going to take half damage and just go pick up a health pack, and Sombra's going to have EMP that much faster. And if you come back to this point with 120 damage, that's going to be, again, 10-15% ult charge straight away. Like, nice and easy for you. Translocator, good. He's not checking his flanks. Okay. Let's take the health pack. So at this point, yeah, okay, good, good, good. Just reset our cooldowns and get ready to go. Take your time, just finish off this target. You could just focus on just finishing targets here. Honestly, no point. Honest to God, if she gets this res off, you are laughing. It's actually good if she gets this res off, because this Zarya is not going to do shit. Zarya is terrible to resurrect. Zarya comes back with 0% charge, and like everyone's just surrounding her. She's dead. So like this is like the Zarya is somewhere in hell, going no 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 no, don't bring me back to this shit, Mercy. You're on your own. You are on your own, love. Just friggin' kill her. Just friggin' kill her. You want the ult charge for yourself, because it's just very good for you to get ult charge, and if she brings back the Zarya, so fucking what? Doesn't matter. So, again, just to sort of iterate the habit, just to keep hammering and hammering and hammering, Translocator, then engage. Like, we don't have a Translocator up, but we're still fighting stuff. Why? The worst thing that will happen is that you'll start taking damage, but you don't have anywhere to run to, and so you'll just die. And then if you die, you're in a lot of trouble. This is... So you notice, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. We've just died to Mercy. And like, you can say, well, where was everyone? Well, the Reinhardt sort of got caught out. He's just been a bit too far forward. Someone's coming back from spawn. Someone's like, 2 people are on the point, and we're just stuck over here with no escape options. This is our own fault. Like, we did this to ourselves. And so this is kind of like the planning aspect of Sombra that is really, really important. Is you've always got to just keep in mind, like, this plan in mind of like, I have an escape. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. And it's like you're playing. It's like almost like playing Tracer, but with a huge safety net and just focusing purely on that safety net on surviving. In theory, you can go for the stall here. I wouldn't recommend it. As you can see that we're in sort of 2 mines. My advice at this level, don't go. Sounds weird to say, like, it's weird to say because it's like they're contesting, but they're on 2/3. The thing is, if you go in, you're just going to die, and then inevitably someone else will just follow you. If you just stop and pull back, people will actually read that body language and just stay with you. So if you stand somewhere, like, near the point, like, let's say if you stand here, what will happen, this is like the psychological aspect of the game, what will happen is people will run out and see that you're stood here and go, oh, well, I'll just stay with this person. We should be, you know, we've taken 1 health back. We should be taking another one. Like, there ain't no rest for the wicked. There was a big period of downtime here where we were busy typing when we should have just been hacking some health packs. Flip them, get them under your belt, makes it harder for the enemy team to do stuff. Oh, free juicy spicy Winston. Free juicy spicy Tracer. Oh, lovely. Lovely. It's nice when the enemy team does this. Nice hack on the Mercy. This is absolutely superb. Means Mercy can't do anything, means Mercy can't correct the situation. Just take your time now. No rush. Easy. Easy as you like. At this, translocator back towards the point. No, oh no. Oh no, 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 no. You want your translocator to be a safe, like you want your translocator to be a mixture of safe and quick. Okay? Wow. That Junkrat. Don't think he's ever seen Sombra before. This translocator we end up throwing, this is not safe. This is where reinforcements come from. So if you translocate back here, and let's just say, for the sake of argument, that there's a roadhog when you come out of it, which is kind of likely that there is one, like, someone could be coming through here, basically. Someone could spot this translocator and just camp it. This is not a safe translocator. It would be safer to just throw it at the point or underneath the bridge and just go from there. And then you can play around. Spot Tracer, try and put a bit of damage on it. She bugs off, fine. Don't be afraid to hack the Winston in this instance, by the way. Primal Raging Winstons are very reliant on their abilities to bounce around, so this is actually a really good hack. You can't bubble, can't stop you, just hack him. And then you can go and deal with the Junkrat, who is ulting, by the way. You just see the Riptide go off, and there he is, just stood there. It looked like for a split second that it was just sort of staring at the health pack going, why health pack no work? Why is health pack no worky? Me no understand. And then he dies. Flip it. Good. So as Sombra, we can be a bit cheeky at this point. A good way of resetting, a good place to reset to. Throw your translocator up here. Like, just throw it up here, teleport up here, wait a second. Or apparently I have a Microsoft account problem. Drop the translocator up here, and then you can just stealth down infinitely. Also, very, very difficult to dodge EMPs when they're dropping down onto you from high ground. Just make sure you let yourself drop, and then just try and catch people in the circle. Very, very powerful way of doing things. Once Mercy nerfs goes through, can I send in some games to show that the nerfs help her? Sure, if you say. I don't think they help her, necessarily. I think they make her less hated. I like the fact that we're being patient, we're not sort of overthinking things. Okay, just never fall into this habit of trying to hack people when you're being shot at. This never works. If someone's stupid enough to just stand still, aim the crosshair on their head, and just hold left mouse button. Really good. This is an EMP? This is definitely an EMP. Yes, good. Good, 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 good. Why was that definitely an EMP? It's kind of obvious, but hey, Lucio, sound barriers, we hard counter sound barrier. Easy. Easy as you like. Highest priority now is to rebuild our ultimate. Okay, what I want you to do is get your translocator down on the point, probably just behind the point or down by this bridge, and yeah, just get out there. Like, let's just get out there. Honestly, don't fuck hacking him, just shoot him. There's no point hacking him, just shoot the shit out of him. It's a Junkrat, much like Torbjorn, Junkrat's model, okay, from the side view. Junkrat kind of looks like this, right? These are his feet, there's his knees, there's his head, and here's his head, and then he's got like his hands like this, okay? This is literally how Junkrat looks to me in the game. The big thing about how Junkrat looks is he's a solid mass. Like, unlike someone like Mercy, who's just like this, probably a little bit more like this, Maybe a little bit more like this. That's more Widowmaker. But basically just a stick, right? It's hard to hit a stick when your weapon does like a big circle of damage. When someone looks like this and you do a big circle of damage, it's easier to hit. Much easier to hit. So yeah. A hat rat can't double conk you. The second you see the first mine come out, you just translocate. Oh no, I have more EMP charge. What's the problem? Okay, they don't even contest. Feels bad, man. Feels pretty bad, man. But yeah, in general, like, you almost want him to shoot you. And if he fucks up and you kill him, you kill him. Because being honest, the second he hears a hack, he should be turning around and throwing a conk mine anyway. He can just LMB shift you. Yeah, but if he hits you with a left mouse button, then you just go. Or if it even looks like he's going to hit you, you just go. You just get out. The point isn't necessarily to even engage or stall the Junkrat. The point is to build ultimate. You just want to get some damage out there, maybe get some damage on you, and just teleport out. That's what you're looking to do. Again, it's all about the ultimate. Now, at this level, probably not quite as much, but as you get better and better and better with Sombra, and like I will assume that this guy's going to climb ranks pretty quickly, to be honest. You can absolutely just, you will see that it's not very, like, Sombra is not very effective when just played as like a backline harassment flanker. You pick Tracer to do that. Tracer does that infinitely better than Sombra ever could. You play Sombra because she has EMP, she has this massive denial potential for the enemy team, and it's very, very powerful to use. So yeah. And so, yeah, people sort of talk about, you know, I saw people in chat mention, you know, how often does this person probably get called out as a smurf? Probably pretty often, if I had to suspect. Like, I do not see this person... Like, this was a particularly good game for this person, I'm guessing, but I'll, yeah, like, in terms of individual FPS skill, they are better than what Silver would be. Like, 53 limbs, 4 deaths. That's pretty good. Now, guaranteed they're playing Sombra, which is kind of hard to kill at times. They're playing Widow, which is quite far back. But this is indicative of someone who is playing below their rank. This should not be this uneven. So yeah, I can see this person getting out of Silver pretty quickly. The big thing is just like, it's breaking habits. Just break habits non-stop, basically. Like, try and break as many habits as possible. Because if you don't, you're going to be slower than everyone else. Just watch, like, when you watch, and if you do watch streams, and I recommend you do go and watch a couple, or just go and watch the Overwatch League, like, watch how quick people are moving around, watch how jittery the aim almost looks, how fast people move and aim and do things, because it really will highlight the difference in terms of just how rapid they're playing as compared to what we saw on the Widowmaker, which, I'm not going to lie, like, accuracy was fine, but it just looked slow. It looks so slow. And if you played against like someone probably more accurate to this guy's player level, like FPS level, they will lose every single fight. I want to find that Mercy. Where it's like, this just felt so sluggish. Like, this is okay. But even then, also, by the way, with peeking turrets, you can generally, like, just peek the side of them and still be able to full damage. You don't have to sort of try and headshot them or anything. And you can generally sort of corner peek them without being shot at. The more you know. But yeah, like this Mercy. Like, yeah, we get the headshot, but you could have probably done 2 body shots, or maybe just a headshot in that time, regardless. Like, and that's sort of, to me, that's the sort of the difference. Is you could have fired a shot now and then fired a second shot and killed her already. Or just fired a headshot pretty much straight away. Like, you could have done that much, much faster, and that's sort of what we need to be doing. But man, watching people play in Silver is amazing. Just like, there's a Widowmaker. There's a Widowmaker. Don't stand out in the open. Don't stop moving. Junkrat, why did you stand still there and just sort of go, why is pretty lady with rifle looking at me? And then just dead. Ugh. Right, I'll stop bullying Silver players, I'm sorry. I know you're learning, but move! Keep moving, it's good for you. Anyway, questions. Questions is pretty much on the cards now, so if you want to ask some questions about Widowmaker, about Sombra, about Anubis, about Overwatch League, I'm sure you probably got a couple regardless. Anything you want, anything you like. Ask me some questions. I look like a hobo. Yeah, questions. I'm going to load up Overwatch. and just get a menu up so you don't have to look at my ugly mug. It's a horrible spot. It's icky and terrible. I'm unshaven. I'm unclean. Always a bit unclean. Always a bit dirty. Right. Options. Sound is already on 20. Good. What are we looking for? Let's go. I mean, come on. There's only one option. You do the ballet. Actually, let's do the. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I'll never get over the fact that she has a tramp stamp of the team in question. Okay. Let's go. I got called a cheater in Copa Lucio Ball. Nice. Good characters to play with or against Sombra. Sombra Tracer or Sombra Genji. Sombra Genji is hilarious. Sombra Genji is hilarious because you explode Zenyatas. So what happens is you EMP, and then Genji just dashes the Zenyatta, and he dies instantaneously. It's amazing. You don't know power like it until you've tried it. It's hilarious. So that's always a fun one. Reaper Sombra, like the old Talon comp, really good on 2CP, still functions, still works just fine, honestly. It's not played by pros just because of how the meta shifted and how tempo shifted sort of away from the Sombra. People generally want to be a bit faster than how Sombra operates, especially on attack. But yeah, the old Talon comp is still really good, just clears a pathway for Reaper. Basically, Sombra will work nicely to counteract, so Sombra works nicely to counteract. Okay? Diva. So if a Diva is shutting down a lot of what your team's doing, you can actually do a lot of work just shutting her down. EMP will just stop her blocking off important ultimates, and then you just clear a pathway to get a bunch of kills. Lucio absolutely destroys Lucio, because it basically means that every single time Lucio wants to ult, he's really going to struggle to find those ultimates. Really going to struggle to find them. So you want to be doing that. Let's see, what else? What else would Sombra be really good against? Other than that, like, it is somewhat of a situational pick, and I'd say it's more map-oriented, and then when you have it on a map, and I'm sure someone's going to ask, like, you know, when do you play Sombra, and why isn't Sombra played quite as much on 2CP? Basically, the more dive-oriented style, the more aggressive style has gotten better at sort of isolating and picking down the Sombras, but I think people have also just got better at playing against the Sombras and know kind of how to beat it at the pro level. In ladder, Sombra is just very team-oriented, so it's just very hard to match up to a top, like, have a top tier team fall for the Sombra, essentially, just like fall for the Sombra's tricks, or just like not build up ultimates and just clear a pathway and win. 2CP is still where she's queen, where she's just amazing, just because you can continually build up these ultimates in time for every single fight. The big thing, especially in the current meta, is you want to make sure that you are shutting down Mercy, because the worst thing that could happen is you EMP but you don't catch Mercy. And if you don't catch the Mercy, you're in trouble, because she will just Valkyrie and then just res whoever dies in the EMP. So let's say that you EMP, you counteract Zenyatta, you kill Zenyatta, and then you hear, you know, heroes never die in the background. Mercy, like, saunters in, heroes never die, and then Zenyatta just goes, experience, pass into the iris, or whatever bullshit he says, and then everyone's alive, and you're losing the fight because you have lower damage output and they have 2 supports. So yeah, bad. Yeah, kind of important. Just like keeping on that Mercy as well, keeping pressure on the Mercy, keeping her hacked, very important. I assume this means you're not going to coach Widow anytime soon. Is it you that sent in? Because I think there is another Widow. Yes, there is. There is another Widow here. We could do it at some point soon. We'll see. We will see. It might pop up again. Depends on how many people send in videos. Like, basically, as it stands now, it's still quite likely I will do the full Widowmaker coaching. That was only one round anyway, so it wasn't really like full Widowmaker coaching. That was just more, hey, in Overwatch, you can move and shoot at the same time. It's pretty cool. Someone in silver that can hit with Widows as rare as diamonds. Yeah. What's the difference between Rushdown and Deathball? Good question. So Rushdown, like, the way I divide it in my head is like this. Rushdown works where you want to engage up close. You want, like, basically, as the term suggests, you want to rush the enemy. So you're moving in and engaging at very close range, and you're just going to fight the first thing that you encounter. That's usually a tank. It doesn't really matter what you're fighting as long as you're fighting something. And honestly, tanks are usually pretty good for it, because the heroes that you play in Rushdown are usually like Reaper, Roadhogs, Divas, stuff that is very good at shredding tanks. Not so good at shredding like nimble, agile heroes that are a bit smaller in size because they have these widespread weapons that you want to be using on tanks. Deathball plays a bit differently. So with Rushdown, your objective is to get into the enemy team and just fight and just sort of brawl and punch and hit the biggest thing as hard as you can and then destroy them. And that's what you're looking to do. With Deathball, you're more just looking to play it as like a big single unit, and you're looking to it's more like an immobile style. You're more just looking to set up in a location and fight. You might be wondering, well, surely like surely Rushdown and Deathball then on attack are kind of the same thing. Like all the Rushdown is an offensive Deathball. Not quite. So a good example would be the Dallas Fuel team lineup that they ran on Anubis, which is the triple tank plus Widow lineup. It's not really Rushdown in terms of how they played it. They just played it and they just set up on the point. That's all they want to do. They don't even really want to fight Seoul. They just, sorry, Seoul. I know, I say Seoul because I pronounce it because there's a fucking E in it, basically. Anyway, they just get onto the point and that's all they want to do. And you'll see team comps like that exist where it's just like, yeah, we're just going to get here and just stand here. And it's not Rushdown because they're not engaging the enemy team. They're not diving anything. They're not fighting anything directly. They're just getting into a location and going, no, like, look at me. I'm the defender now. So that's what they're doing. And that's sort of the crux behind the two different team comps. Sometimes the lines blur. It's not a hard and fast line. It's a way of sort of dividing up. It's a way of dividing up basically in my mind of, okay, this looks like a Rushdown team, so I'm going to play more aggressively. Although this is more of a Deathball team, so I might be a bit more passive, poke a bit more, position a little bit more carefully, all that kind of stuff. It's just working out how I am going to play in conjunction with the team. These are just tools that you use to sort of break the game down and understand it easier. They are by no means hard and fast rules of, we have this, 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 and this. You can play certain team comps in a Rushdown style, certain team comps in a Deathball style. You could even try and play it in a flankier style. Like, it's just a matter of like, this team comp looks like it's going to do well by just staying in a big group and poking away, and we will do that and we'll just beat the enemy team. Like, that's more of like a Junkrat Roadhog comp, for example. You just stay together in a big clump, just shoot into barriers, and then you'll just roll forward. While with like a Reaper Roadhog comp, you'll roll forward and then just kill the tank. And the difference between the two is just like the distance, how you're engaging, how you're setting up, how you're positioning, and it all impacts onto these factors. But it's not like a big difference. It's not like suddenly everyone's mindset changes. It's more just the engagement distances have to change based on the heroes, how you're playing, how you're going to position is going to change, and how aggressive you're going to be is going to change. So that's kind of how it works with that. Tips for getting good at Widowmaker and also tips to get better at Widow aiming. I'm here for being annoying as always. No worries. Getting better at aiming is just practice. It's honestly just practice. My advice with Widowmaker especially is free-for-alls help a lot. I find free-for-alls help a lot in your moment-to-moment decision-making and just getting quicker. Because the thing with a free-for-all... Hey, Captain Cats. 12 months. Oh yeah. Thank you, Captain Cats. It's appreciated. Hopefully all is well in New Zealand. We're having a good summer because it's freezing as balls over here. I'm wearing them right now. My mum got me slippers for Christmas, so they've proven most useful in these cold winter days. You see, I'm wearing a hood as well, which is keeping my head warm and stopping the shine from the white screen from just blinding the camera. Anyway, so what you'll notice in FFA quite a lot is you'll be playing Widow and you'll be fighting someone, and then someone else will inevitably come in and just kill you. What you'll learn is that the quicker you kill, the easier it gets. And basically, it will just force you to kill faster and faster and faster and faster. It will also get you very used to fighting Genjis, it'll get you used to fighting Tracers, and finding the best way to do that. Fighting Tracers is just to aim at head height and then just keep rattling off shots, basically. So aim at head height, wait for like not even a third I think you need, and just ping a headshot. Barely takes any charge up time at all. You just aim at head height, and you're just looking, bang. Okay, next shot, bang, next shot, bang. Inevitably, they'll just blink into it, and then you'll kill them. Difficult matchup to win, basically. Genjis, it's just all about the cooldowns. If they have cooldowns up, you're in a lot of trouble, basically. Venom Mine, Body Shot, Melee, Left Click, either of them works. Just keep in mind, like, Venom Mine is 75 damage. Oh, God. 75 damage. Body Shot is 120 on full charge, so you only need 5 damage from somewhere. And like, you don't even need a full body shot in that case, because you could know that one shot from your rifle, one left click in SMG mode does 23 damage. So, hey, use that knowledge to your power. By the way, is hacking someone always the same duration? Yes. Doesn't matter who you hack, it's always the same. Do you think the Mercy nerf was enough to quell her dominance? Yes. The Mercy nerf on PTR will definitely change things. The reason why Mercy is so dominant is because you basically cannot counter instantaneous res when used properly, because it's instantaneous. So what will often happen is basically Mercy uses it reactively rather than proactively. So the issue with Valkyrie is that it's a reactive ultimate. Basically, your team will run in, like the Soul game, like it's on my mind because, you know, I did a video on it earlier today. The Soul game had like Taimu running in through the door, and then he got pulse bombed and died, and Chips just Valked and just rezzed him. Actually, I don't think he Valked in that case. I think he did a manual res and the team protected him, which is good. Because this is the thing that annoys me. Valkyrie, as it is now, has a lower skill cap. Because you have instantaneous reses, because you have that meteoric movement speed, there's basically very little risk in terms of how you're positioning, how you're moving, and what you're doing. The risk is minimal. What you're really looking for is something where risk exists, and where making decisions is meaningful. Because as it is now, like the meaningful decision you're making is, do I res X over Y? And usually you just res the first two people you can get. And so what ends up happening is like the decision making isn't good. But meanwhile, like Dallas Fuel had a really good moment where they are snowballing from first point to second point, and Taimu ults and gets pulse bombed playing Roadhog. So he can't heal himself, so he's doing all this damage, but he takes a shitload of damage and then just gets killed. And they need Taimu alive to win this fight. So what does the team do? XQC puts a barrier forward, team basically bunches around where the corpse is, Chips reses, and it's a really good play. It's a really nice little subtle, clever play. Nice little sort of decision making, nice realization that, okay, we need Taimu, so we need to set up for this res, get the res off. Good. Now they can go, now they can push, now they can fight, and they won on that push. That's interesting. That's exciting. What isn't exciting is two people, it's like Tracer gets a pulse bomb, someone gets a snipe, and then you just see Mercy go gold and just go res, and then just floats around healing everyone, and no one dies for 20 seconds. Boring as fuck. Not interesting. No one can hit the Mercy. She's just dodging all the shots anyway. If she does take damage, she'll just dash off into the distance. She's just... It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious. It's not fun. Let's get rid of it. Any chance for a probing of Dallas versus Dynasty or Outlaws versus Philly? Oh boy, do I have a YouTube video for you. Unfortunately, it's not on my channel. It's on this one. On the Unit Lost channel. But guess who did this? Guess who did this? Yeah, it was me. I might do Seoul versus Dallas, but honestly, what I'll probably do instead is the Shock games. Not Shock. Fusion. Like, a lot of people have been asking for Fusion. I kind of agree. I'm kind of excited to go into it. Fusion versus Houston. Is it Fusion versus Houston? It better be. Like, this is where my short-term memory is shit. But the Fusion game, because Fusion were like complete underdogs going into that series. Complete underdogs. Now, I have concerns about Fusion, but they are a very exciting team. So yeah, it's going to be good to see those guys develop. So I'm going to probably do that one, to be honest. Should be good. I'm not going to click that just in case it was something terrible. Sorry, the name doesn't inspire huge amounts of confidence. How transferable do you think Widowmaker's skill set is to Anna's and vice versa? Pretty high, actually. You'll be a body shot god, but you'll fire shots, and it is similar aim. The thing with Anna is there's just a lot more allowance, but they do cross over. I will tell you, as someone who played Anna and Widow for a while, like, you do improve on both of them. So yeah. Don't know the hobo look. God damn. Any type of coaching VODs you don't want in particular. But the worst coaching VODs are, like, this one kind of had touches of it. I didn't watch it all the way through in my prep. I didn't realize sort of how much better this person was in terms of mechanics compared to most people. So, like, games where you do really, really well are not as useful as games where you struggle. It's you know, it's sort of the overarching message of the Last Jedi, no spoilers, but, you know, is that failure is a great educator. Like, if you have a game, and like the best games to send in, the best games to do a VOD review on, the best, absolute best, perfect games to do it is games where you lost but you don't quite know why. You thought you were doing really well, and yet you still lose, and you don't know what happened. And it's like, I thought I did everything I could there, but we lost, and I don't get why. I don't know why we lost that game. I thought I was doing really well, but I kept dying, and then I noticed at the end of the game I had a ton of deaths, and I was like bronze damage. What happened? Those games are really, really good to coach, because it's like, well, you're probably making some very endemic mistakes, so let's take a look at those. And let's try and find those mistakes and iron them out. So I switched to Widow from Junk the other day because the enemy team was running a Pharah and got some grief from my team because I'm not amazing with Widow. Should I switch those state to the hero I'm better with? You should have maybe gone... So if you're not amazing with Widow, Widowmaker is, I call it the honesty of Widowmaker, where if you're just not landing shots, you're not going to land shots. With Widow, you either you hit or you miss. It's a binary character. Okay, it's technically like tertiary? Trinary? The trinary character, okay? Because unlike binary has two states, 0 and 1. Okay, with Widowmaker you either hit or you miss, or you headshot. So there's technically a 2 in there, because you have 3 states. But basically you hit or you miss. Okay, so it's binary. If you can't hit, you're just going to miss, and you're not going to do anything. If you can hit, you're going to hit stuff and you're going to win. And it's just a matter of just getting better and better and better at the hit state and just focusing on that. If you aren't great at Widow and you want to deal with a Pharah, Soldier is easier and more useful in general. So, yeah. That's sort of a better way of doing it. If you are getting absolutely ruffle stomped by a Pharah, swapping to Junk isn't a bad swapping off Junk isn't a bad idea because Junkrat does nothing to stop the Pharah. So you are correct in making that decision without knowing the circumstances of the rest of the game. You could have been important on the Junkrat, like if it's Eichenwald first point or Eichenwald third point, and you swap off Junkrat when they have a Pharah, like especially on Eichenwald third, that's not a good decision. But if it's something like Dorado second point and you're being stomped by a Pharah, sure, swapping to a Soldier would work quite nicely. So yeah, just sort of hard to say. Hey Josh, I'm sure you learned about the interview with Jeff or about the meta-changing hero. What would you want him, her, it to be? I think a tank. I think Overwatch needs like another injection of life into the tank scene. We don't really need more DPS options at this point. We've got a lot of good DPS options available to us. You've got your sort of your big chunky hit scan in McCree, you got your tracking hit scan in Soldier, you got your projectiles. Hanzo needs taken out and shooting or reworking. Apparently they're looking at that or discussing it at the very least, which makes me very happy. You have your standard sniper in Widow. Yeah, the only other thing I could think of is like barrier penetration and stuff like that to try and like stuff that will slowly deal damage through barriers and just like erode people away from areas and just sort of zone them out. That could be a way of doing things. Stuff like Symmetra orbs or Moira orbs, but more aggressive, could work in terms of just changing how the game gets played and just pushing people away from being stood in one solitary location. The issue with that is it just completely wrecks Orisa, and Orisa doesn't need more wrecking. So yeah, we'll see. Like, it's, without seeing it, and I'm looking forward to it because it sounds really nice, and like, the thing with the new hero is hopefully they shake up the meta slightly. Doomfist sort of came in, shook up the meta in a big way, and then got nerfed into the dirt, and so didn't get to do much. Sombra shook up the meta in a big way about 6 months after she was released when everyone figured out how to play her. Anna shook up the meta and basically gave us tank meta for ages, so everyone loved that. So just be careful. Just be careful when you sort of wish that, oh man, this hero's going to change the meta, because that's what Anna did. And yeah, took a while, but it happened. And so did Sombra. What would be the particularly bad Sombra maps? Oh, good question. Well, I'd say any of the pure payloads. I wouldn't rate Sombra on pure payload. Especially any of the more open maps as well. Numbani, I don't like her on either. The reason why is because the health packs just aren't very useful for defending or for offense. So it's like, the health packs you're trying to get and the way people position, like the way people position on Numbani, the way I sort of view Numbani is like, this is the point. And then you have like the catwalk here. It's like this, and then you have like the platform here. Right, and then you got like the stairs down here and whatever. But this is sort of how I view Numbani, where it's got like these two very, very clear zones. You get the idea? And like, you're never going to EMP everyone, so you're never going to get huge value EMPs. So that's sort of why I don't rate Numbani for Sombra. So it's sort of anything like that, or anything where the team's defending very spread apart and very sort of split up in how they're defending. In general, Sombra is just a very difficult hero to make work. Like, let's go to Overbuff. My favorite list. Just go check out this list. They're on all on PC. And win rates. Sombra, lowest win rate. In bronze, Sombra, hey, lowest win rate. Silver, lowest win rate. Gold, lowest win rate. Platinum, Lowest win rate. Diamond. Anna and Hanzo take over. Master. Notice that Sombra is climbing now. Grandmaster. Sombra is actually pretty high up in Grandmaster. Higher than Farah. Higher than Reinhardt. Higher than Winston, for pity's sake. So Sombra, like, I think this is just because this is, like, these people, this very, very tiny, like the May as well, like, these are very, very specialized groups of people. Probably a very, very small number. Giving statistical data here, like, especially, like, this number as well. Because this is just, like, the players on this website as well, I think, or whatever it's tracking. It isn't, like, indicative of the full player base. But you get the idea. Sombra is a very difficult hero to play. So you are, if you want to play a lot of Sombra, like, you are setting yourself up for some pain. Trust me, I know, I have the talent account, I played her a good bit. It's difficult because Sombra is very reliant on the team playing properly. So is Widow, to be honest. Both of them are very reliant on the team playing appropriately and properly around you. If you play a tank, you should leave flankers to your teammates. Yes. Don't play running as a Sombra. Yes. Is the Sombra will just diddle you non-stop. This is part of why Reinhardt doesn't get played much, because it's just easy to counterpick him. Tracer as well. Any trip for Sombra on King of the Hill, really struggling trying to achieve a good impact with Sombra. First things first, know what health pack you're going to hack first. So let's take Ilios Ruins. Because Ilios Ruins, we saw Sombra get played on there for a while. So Ilios Ruins looks a little bit like the White House. In terms of just a schematic diagram. Okay, because there's a health pack here. The point is here. Right, it's this sort of low ground, but there's a large health pack up here. And you have like the pillars and the statue, pillar, pillar, pillar. Okay? And like a box thing here and a box thing here, you get the idea. Right? Everyone knows what I'm talking about? Everyone knows what I'm talking about. You really want to beeline for this health pack right here. Because if you don't, then you're going to be screwed. Same thing on Ilios Lighthouse. The health pack in the middle where everyone first meets, get there first, hack it first, and then have your team fight on it. Because what will happen is you're getting so much healing from that health pack, you will build EMP really quickly, and you will just smash them with EMP. You will build the EMP like in 20 seconds flat, if your people are doing it appropriately. The big thing is you've got to tell people, you have to tell people, play around health packs, hack health packs, and what health packs are hacked, and Sombra very much relies on that communication. So if you're playing on Europe, good fucking luck. If you're playing on US, it's probably a bit easier, because you do need to communicate with your team and say, so-and-so health pack is hacked, please use it, please fight around it. Another good example is on Oasis, on the garden map. Like the point is like this, and you have like the high ground area, it's like a T. Right, but beneath here is a health pack, and like this health pack is actually very, very strong, and you have the health pack sort of in the circle room in the middle, and then you have like the gates here, whatever. Right? And like this is the point. So like there's a lot of good health packs on this map. You're basically just looking for any map where health packs are available. A bad example would be Oasis City Center, because the nearest health packs are actually quite far away from the actual point itself. Like, where are people going to go and get that healing? They have to move quite a distance to go and find the nearest health packs. The point itself is so big that people have to run goddamn miles to go and get any kind of meaningful healing from you, so you're never really going to have a chance to do it. It's also a very open map, it's very spread apart, so you're going to have a hard time EMPing. And I'd even say that kind of extends to University as well, the indoor map, because the health pack that people are going to want to take is the drop down. And if they can't climb back up, you're screwed. So what health pack are they going to get? The one in the short room? That's about it. And that's a bit of a death trap room at times. So it's sort of just identifying like, hey, this map has got a lot of health packs around the point. They're easy to access. They're large health packs. Okay, that's good for Sombra. The bad ones are going to be the ones where it's like, okay, the health packs are miles away or they're tucked away in awkward places. That's probably not a good map for Sombra. Favorite team of Overwatch League is, just quickly, mine is Fusion. Mine is Spitfire, but Fusion is a really good cut. Like, Fusion were really exciting. A lot of people are underestimating them, myself included. I will freely admit I underestimated Fusion. I was worried about the communication, because like Shadowburn is not known for his communication. Neptuno, their primary shot caller, like Boombox is relatively quiet. Neptuno is going to be their shot caller and was a shot caller. Played Lucio for a very long time, and like, but his shot calling isn't as flowing as some other shot callers. Like, he temped in for Team UK. I don't know whether it was nerves or whether he was just nervous about his accent or whatever, but he did temp for Team UK on a couple of scrims, and so we got to hear his shot calling. It wasn't quite as clean as what you would hope for. So I was a little bit worried about that and the sort of communication. I do worry that they're a bit of a one-note team, but I'm looking forward to seeing how Fusion do, because they play in a really exciting style. They should be a lot of really exciting games from Fusion. Favorite team is Spitfire. Pretty happy with that choice, to be honest. I have a soft spot for a lot of teams in the Overwatch League, to be honest. Actually, we can just do it here. Like, I really do have a soft spot for a lot of teams. Boston Uprising, I'm not a big fan of. Spitfire, I love. Mayhem, I like Mayhem purely because I like Tavik. I like Houston Outlaws because I like Mendo and Linksa. So I rate Houston very highly. Excelsior is just a very, very solid team. Like, you saw Profit just come out and put everyone in a goddamn box. It was not Profit. Pine come out and put everyone in a goddamn box. It was amazing. Fusion, just exciting, aggressive team. Dallas Fuel, just a lot of very solid players. Like, it's hard not to like the Envious lineup and just sort of root for them. Gladiators are kind of flown under the radar for me. I think they're just kind of like in my mind, Gladiators is just going to be like a quiet, middle of the road kind of okay team. Valiant, I like purely mostly off the back that, hey, Numlocked is on it and Agilities is on it, and I really like Agilities as a player. Shock, I'm middling on. I like Baby Bay as a player, but I think he spread himself too thin. So yeah, Seoul Dynasty are just exciting to watch. Like, they're some of the best players in the world. Why wouldn't you be excited? Shanghai Dragons, don't care. Just to really be brutally honest, I would be like, maybe Shanghai Dragons can come out and surprise everyone. I have doubts. They're probably going to round out the bottom of the league, and that's kind of what everyone else is thinking. I'm transferring from a support tank role to DPS, focusing on Tracer. Sounds familiar. Is aim or positioning flanking more important on her? Both. Tracer is very unforgiving mechanically. I'd say it's more positioning and flanking that are going to get you killed more than anything. Watch the Overwatch League. Watch how the Tracers play. All of them play slightly differently, but the big thing you'll notice is they are more cautious than you would expect, and they seldom will engage without any prior knowledge. They'll sort of peek and look, and then they'll go, okay, I can probably go in here, do something, and then they'll get out if they don't feel safe. And it's sort of learning how safe you are at any given time. That's sort of the big thing I'm trying to learn, and like, I'm trying to cut back on my aggression because I take too many fights, and that just gets me killed quite often. And it's more like knowing how best to use your time at any given moment. Like, Tracer is very difficult. I recommend Tranquility. Go onto my YouTube channel, go watch the VOD called Coaching the One, because I coach my own Tracer gameplay in that one, and sort of go through it and look through it. So if you look through that, that might have some helpful advice, but yeah, I'm sort of undergoing the same transition, and it's kind of interesting. Do you think the tanks were carrying Fusion, or was it more of a team effort? No. Carpe and Shadowburn were carrying Fusion. Boombox did really well. Like, Boombox did Boombox things. It made me laugh because someone the other day said, do you think Boombox is overrated? Or I said, I think Boombox is slightly overrated. And it's like, well, the thing with Boombox is this. He will kill people over and over and over and over and over again. He'll win fights that he shouldn't be winning. Like Fraggy as well. Fraggy is just like, I think someone, was it Fishsticks? Or was it Captain, let me check. I think it was Captain Planet who did it, who's like a statistics guy for Overwatch. There it is. He retweeted a tweet that Ryan did. There we go. Let's bring up my Twitter. There are two types of Reinhardts, cowards and retards. Me and Fraggy aren't cowards. That's from Reinforce. Yeah. Fraggy is like the aggressive tank. And there's few tanks that you, like, especially Western tanks, there are a few Western tank players that you will feel comfortable with on Reinhardt. I've named both of them. One is Fraggy, one is Chris. And Fraggy is just like, he's just going to kill people. Fraggy doesn't give a shit. He's just going to murder everyone. But I definitely think it was the Carpe Shadowburn combo that did really well. Poco really did play quite well, though. Like, Poco played a very good game, got some very clutch bombs, but it was largely off the back of Carpe and Shadowburn. Just doing most of the work. That's what I would say. Just because, like, especially on the first map, I think they had like an 18-player kill streak. Like, Shadowburn had like 18, I think Carpe had like 17. It was ridiculous. That was on Dorado. Just insane to get that kind of value. They were just constantly getting kills. It's a terrifying duo. I have questions of, like, if they go up against Birdring Prophet, what happens? Because those guys could probably match them. So yeah, should be good. Why do some Korean teams use Sombra in a DPS slot instead of a support star, i.e. Seoul Dynasty on Horizon? It depends on the individual player's sort of preferences and which player prefers what. Like, it really does come down to a team choice. You can run either one, and especially with Mercy how she is, you can run the solo Mercy. it's like an interesting tactical decision, because if you are playing her instead of a DPS, you are losing DPS elsewhere. You are trading damage output for the ability to control the map a lot more, and you're going to be relying a lot more on picks. The issue you face is, let's say you run Tracer Sombra, then you're basically both focused on just like getting a very quick kill, and if that doesn't happen, if it goes wrong, you will lose so quickly because the enemy team will just out DPS you. So like it's very, very volatile. With a mono support, or with like one support plus Sombra, you're more relying on playing on a tanky team, which is sitting on top of a health pack, because most of you, like, you need to play survivable heroes a lot more, like a Roadhog, like a Risa even as well, or a Winston, something mobile to get to health packs quickly, will work a little bit better. I'd say like the Winston probably works a lot better, because then you can just primal rage and get to health packs if you need them, and charge EMPs even faster. So it's just like, it's a change in playstyle as well, for depending on what you want to get done. It just depends on the team. Like, London Spitfire will probably run it in a DPS slot, for example. So yeah. Can you please break down Fusion vs Outlaws? Probably will. Burst against encounters. Counters to Sombra, anything with high burst damage, McCree is a nightmare. The goose is to be where McCree isn't. Junkrat is a pain in the ass, because Junkrat will just, like, you'll just sometimes blunder into a trap, or he'll just burst you, or just spam through somewhere and he will kill you. He can charge your EMP extremely fast, but the trade-off is that he can just rip tire and kill people from a million miles away, so it's a problem. Pharah is a pain in the ass for Sombra as well, because you can't really EMP her, and she's going to be carting Mercy away out of range. So it's like, you can either EMP the pharmacy, or you can EMP the rest of the team, and honestly, it's sort of, there's no good option there, because you EMP the pharmacy, Zenyatta just hits Transcendence, and then Mercy just drops into it, and it's fine. Or you EMP the pharmacy, or you EMP the Zenyatta, you kill Zenyatta, Mercy Valks, and just reses him. There's no good options there. So that's sort of where I'd say the sort of counters come in. Dive Deathball, I've never heard of Rushdown. So basically, this is more my own thing, X-Ray. So basically the way I see it, there's 4 team comps, 1, 2, 3, 4. The main ones that people know pretty reliably is Deathball and Dive. Okay, then you have 2 more technically. You have Rushdown.
Nothing makes me feel more alive than OneAmongstMany.
Thank you, Tranquility, as well. It's appreciated.
Never saw the donating pop-up. Was curious.
There you go. Now you've seen it. It's appreciated. Your curiosity has been rewarded. So you have Rushdown, and you have Pick. Okay. The reason why I split these up is they have 4 basic differences in playstyle. Deathball is more about just being in one location and fighting. A lot of comps built around Orisas, Soldier 76s, tend to play in this Deathball style. You're seeing actually Deathball, like, Widowmaker comps now popping up, which is sort of a mix between Deathball and Pick. Like, there's no hard and fast rules here. There's nothing, like, hard and fast and strict here. But it's more like you're just playing in a location, you're going to stay there, and you're just going to fight from there and just shoot back and forth. Deathball can be things even as varied and wild-ranging as, like, the pirate ship is a Deathball comp, because you just want to get this big clump of your team onto a location and fight there. That's what you want. Dive is defined by you're looking for vulnerable targets, and it's the looking for vulnerable targets that distinguishes it from Rushdown. They are similar in some ways, but different in others. So Dive is you're looking for vulnerable, you're basically looking for the weakest member of the enemy team, and then you're going to focus on that and kill it. Stuff like Zenyatta's, just, you know, prime bait for dive comps. That's your Genji, Tracer, Winston, Diva sort of comp, where you're just going into the backline and killing the most vulnerable thing. Rushdown is different, because in Rushdown you're just looking to fight the biggest thing you can find. You're just looking to fight and kill stuff. Rushdown and Dive have similarities, but with Rushdown you're not positioning to look for a Zenyatta. You're just looking to go, oh, there's a tank, let's just go kill it, and you just run in and kill it. And that's like when you're playing. And the thing with Rushdown is, like, you can play Reaper, Roadhog, Reinhardt or Winston. You can even play Diva, like Roadhog Diva into it. Roadhog Zarya technically could probably work as well. But you're just looking to, like, smash them every single time you meet them. And it doesn't matter how much healing they throw on their main tank, you're just going to kill it regardless. Because you have so much damage output. That's sort of how Rushdown works. And then you have Pick comps, so it's more like your Widowmaker-oriented comps, where you're just looking to sort of set up and get 1 or 2 quick kills. You can also play like a Pick comp style with Tracer, just looking to get bombs and stuff and open up the team, and then engage really hard. Pick comp kind of bleeds into the other comps somewhat. It's just more like it's a playstyle because it's more like the focus is mostly on surviving and then looking for like getting a quick kill on something, and that's when everything kicks off. Well, with dive, you're more taking initiative. The dive is more just apropos of positioning rather than getting a pick. So that's sort of where pick comp differentiates itself. There are just mindsets you can go through and sort of look at your team lineup and see which of the 4 categories the team you're playing in fits, and you can sort of go from there. And this is just how I split it up. So, like, if I'm playing Soldier 76, I'm probably playing a Deathball style, but we could be playing a dive comp with Soldier 76. Absolutely doable. So it's like, okay, I'm probably doing these things. I'm probably not going to play Rushdown. Like, if we have an Orisa, we're probably not playing Rushdown. We're probably playing more of a Deathball style. And it's just figuring out, okay, which does my team really fit into? Okay, how am I going to position to make that work, and how am I going to do that? It's just a way of breaking down the game and sort of simplifying it. So there you go. As you play StarCraft 2, Deathball is a load of siege tank and dive is Zerg Rush. Kind of, yeah. Like, I'd say dive is more marine drops in the supply line, in the mineral line. Like, that's what dive is. Where you're taking some very high damage thing and putting it in the most vulnerable part. Rushdown is more like just like throwing a shitload of Broodlords at the front door. Doesn't matter how much healing they got, you'll just smash it down anyway. Or like you're just putting, you know, just running in with a bunch of Ultralisks and just mowing down the enemy team. Or like Immortal pushing. Stuff like that, like Thors. You know, it doesn't matter what they have on the front line, you're just going to try and run over it. Deathball is more, yeah, tanks, stuff like that. Do you prefer Mercy for a Widow in next meta? In current meta, Mercy Widow is pretty common. Next one, I don't know. Oh, God. Oh, no. You see how far behind I am? Like, I'm about 30 minutes behind. So if you chat, like, you can see, Jesus, people have been busy in chat today. Have you ever seen a Ryan-Lucio duo? Really good for controlling the enemy team's positioning with shield and boots. I have done, because it used to be meta ages and ages ago. Like, Lucio was in meta forever, and Reinhardt was in meta forever. Reinhardt's just dropped out of popularity with the rise of Tracer and better Tracer players. Reinhardt's just kind of faded away. It's a nice way of playing. It's just, there's something very comfortable and stable. So yeah. By the way, I found out basically I'm good because I'm good at Kree, I'm good at Widow. Kind of works. Widow SMG is 13 per bullet. Okay, you get that. Whatever, close enough. It's still good. Tip on getting quick with Swift Strike since I feel pretty fast and can get faster. Not really, just have a plan. Basically. Like, know what you're going to be doing with it and go from there. Webcam model, the one that everyone uses, the Logitech one. That Logitech one, does it say on it? I don't know, it's Logitech 1080p camera. It's the one that's like long and thin. Instead of the Widow skin, what other Overwatch League skin do you consider must buy? I really like the Spitfire Soldier 76, but it's up to you. Just for the string quick take, getting Widow. Yeah, Jake wasn't really pulling his weight. I've said before and I said again, I think Jake is slightly overrated in people's estimation. So yeah. Tip for hitting an 80-80 crouch spamming soldier because it makes me insane. I just try to flick. Just like when they do that, they inevitably sort of make this pattern. Put the crosshair here and just keep firing. That's sort of what I do. It's very frustrating. It is frustrating. It annoys the shit out of me. Widow's more reliant on the team collective for throwing. Widow is extremely team reliant. It's actually very, 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 very much a myth that Widow is like a big solo operator. You need the team to be functioning and playing well, and playing around you as the Widow, because if they're not, you will just get shit on. It's very frustrating when people don't play properly, or when you play Widow and like no one helps peel for you, or no one makes use of the zoning that you're doing. It's really frustrating. We play comp in scrims where we go Sombra, Lucio, Moira, Diva, Tracer, Winston. Any tips for bettering this comp? It's catch you off by surprise comp. Sombra, Lucio, Moira. Ugh. Swap the Moira out for a Mercy. And honestly, like, I would say like swap these two for Zen Mercy and just go with that instead. Because what you'll find is if you play this comp and you have to change, you are fucked. Because everyone's going to have to change. So if you play this comp, Sombra, Lucio, Moira, Diva, Tracer, Winston, so let's just like split it up. So you have Sombra, Tracer. You have Lucio, Moira, Moy. and you have Winston Diva. Okay? If you need to change this team comp up, the things you change are these. Because this is like mostly a meta team comp. If you change the supports to Zen Mercy, you can just play Sombra Tracer, and then just play like very, very sort of heavy aggression. The speed boost won't really make a difference to a lot of these heroes. Like the speed boost, the benefit you're getting out of Lucio is minimal, is what I would say. Because like Sombra can get in nice and quickly, Tracer gets in quickly, Winston gets in quickly, Diva gets in quickly. Do you really need the speed boost? I don't think you do. I think you just get in there. And if you get in there with Tracer having an orb, or you just have a Discord orb on a target, and then you have Valkyrie available to you, you're just going to shit all over the enemy team. Mercy should just be supporting Diva and like just finding things to heal mostly. The Mercy's a bit awkward, but she's so powerful now, why wouldn't you run her? And then if you do need to translate into something else, you still have the support ultimates built up on these guys, and you can just continue the economy battle from there. So that's sort of how I'd optimize that. Fusion is just the kind of team in Overwatch League that doesn't really do a lot of comps, but he's just so insane and dive that no one can stop him. The issue I see with that is when you're going up against NYXL, Spitfire, and Dynasty. And I think teams will figure it out and just beat them. Why was it again that Shanghai isn't miraculous youngsters? From what I've heard, Shanghai was sort of incestuous. Shanghai was built up by people who know people more than anything. Isn't the downside to some Overwatch teams having specialized players means the enemy can try and hard counter them, but they'll struggle to play heroes at the same level if they can't play the main one? Yes. But that's why you have big rosters. That's why you build a team with like a great big old roster, and that's why you have multiple people playing multiple things, because you can have... Like, there's no reason why Philadelphia Fusion just can't say, Shadowburn, do nothing but play Genji and Pharah. That's your job. And then they can tell Snillo, I don't think he's old enough to play yet. He might be. I don't think he is. They can tell Snillo, okay, go play Soldier 76 and McCree. And they can tell Carpe, play Tracer, and nothing else. And they can just pick and choose piecemeal. And then when you're setting up for a map, and you're seeing teams do this already, like when you see teams get used going to play on Control, you'll see them swap Lucio players and stuff like that, or Pharah players get swapped in. Like, just building your team properly and figuring out who needs to play what and what map is optimal is going to be a really important part of building teams. Teams of, like, this is a new thing in Overwatch, and like using coaches and decision making and going, who do we play on this map and who do we play on this map? But it will be very important later. Like, one of the things that was hypothesized was Spitfire, because Spitfire is technically two rosters, the GC Busan and then mostly the Kongdu roster. They could basically divide the map pool in half and then just say, okay, GC play one half of the roster and Kongdu play the other half. And so what you could do is just split the teams up like that. And just say, just focus on these maps and get really, really good at these maps. That instantly halves the workload on these teams. Instantly halves it. Might not be the optimal thing to do, though. They might be better, like, Prophet Bird Ring as a DPS combo is scary, but it means that, you know, Rascal might feel a little bit shafted. One of the issues they could face with Spitfire is because they are such a star-studded team, is you run into the issue where everyone on that team deserves to play, kind of, so you want to play them all, and if they're not getting played, they're going to look to other teams and go, well, I want to play, and I'm not playing, so I'm getting worse, so I need to play, so I'm going to go and join another team that might have a worse DPS lineup and be the star DPS on that team, and do well there. So, like, having nothing but pure star DPS isn't necessarily a good thing in the long term, although it means that the team can sell those players on and maybe develop some new talent. That's sort of the hope. Do you think Fusion will suffer teams if they focus down the star carry players? Example one in declaring Hunter Season and Baby Bait? Yeah. That's sort of the issue I see. So people will go... The issue is, like, we've seen teams in the past, the first World Cup, sort of the highlight of this, where it's like, we need to stop Shadowburn. Oh shit, no one can stop Shadowburn. But I think in this league, the talent level is there to stop Shadowburn. So, yeah. Fuel versus Fusion, who wins? When we say Fusion first, it's going to be the actual... Fusion. No, I think Dallas Fuel wins. They're just more experienced and have better players overall. Especially, like... Yeah, I think Dallas Fuel will win. They're just more experienced as well. And so I think Fusion will just get shattered by them. What could happen is Fuel going cocky and just mess up and underestimate Fusion, but I think everyone is now going to be taking Fusion pretty seriously. So yeah. and trying to learn and improve by watching Overwatch League Pros. What should I keep in mind trying to learn effectively? If you don't already understand how Overwatch economy works, try and focus on the economy game. So what you should be doing is during the games, there's like these 2 top bars. Look at the bars and like go, okay, here's ult, supports have ults here. Who's going to use what in this team fight? How does this team win the team fight? And then you'll start seeing, like, you'll see a Genji going in and he won't Dragon Blade, and you'll go, oh, that's because this Zenyatta over here has Transcendence. And you'll see the focus go on the Zenyatta. And so you'll start seeing sort of how the decisions get made, and how the players are making these decisions and what they're operating on, and how the game sense and sort of awareness of how the game works as a whole develops them as players, and then you will start developing that game sense yourself. And when you have that game sense, it makes a huge difference. How highly do you rate Pharah in matchmaking versus Shadowburn's Pharah? Shadowburn's Pharah is on another level. J. Jonak, yeah. J. Jonah Jameson. Oh baby. Didn't see too much out of him, unfortunately. I was hoping to see more, but Boombox is like a, like if you want to carry supports, Ryu Jae Hong, Boombox, Jonak should be on paper. Let me just bring up like the players list so I don't miss people, because there's a lot of good players and a lot of good teams. Organized by roles. And I'm going to miss people inevitably. I'm going to say names and people are going to go, really? Unco's pretty top tier. Toby on Lucio is holy shit good. Really solid. Shaz is one to watch for. Shaz is actually really solid. Raucus had really fucking good performances. I was really happy to see Raucus play well. Kariv is, honestly, he shouldn't be underestimated as well. He had some really good performances before the Overwatch League got started. I think it was an Alienware Monthly Melee or something, where he just sort of had an explosive performance. It was Boombox-like, is what I would say. So something to watch for. Harry Hook is just consistently good, generally fairly DPS-y as well. Dak is pretty consistent, pretty solid. Custer, again, pretty solid. Don't know too much about the Shanghai Dragons ones. Don't know too much about the London Spitfire ones, to be honest. Hagapen, I think, is just relatively solid. He made some questionable decisions with his Transcendences in preseason. Chips is usually very good. If Chips is dying a lot, there's usually a good reason for it. So that's sort of what I'll say on that. Boink I love just purely because he comes from a team called Oink Oink, Here Comes the Boink. Big Goose is pretty solid regardless. Again, don't know too much about Bedosin. Banny seems to be doing pretty well for himself on Outlaws. And yeah, now we're starting to get to DPS players. Like, what? But yeah. So if I had to sort of narrow it down, like players to watch, Toby if he's on Lucio, Ryu Jae Hong, Raucus seems to be performing pretty well, Kariv could perform very well, J. Jonak could perform very well, Duck, Custer, Chips Hardy, and Boombox. There's a lot of good support players in these, like Unco is solid as well. It's just some of them are more showy than others. You've got the showiest one by far, it's probably Ryu Jae Hong. Ryu Jae Hong is just going to destroy people. Like, he's the one you looked for to get a lot of kills. Same with Boombox. Like, Ryu Jae Hong and Boombox are both very much that sort of high KDR play, basically. I think we'll wrap it up with 1 or 2 more questions, because it's almost Overwatch League time. I prefer getting good at projectile like Genji Fire, etc. I'm good at Genji, not so much the rest, but I'm insane with headshots. Or hit scan. What is the recommendation to do in this situation to become competitive? I'm insane at all hit scans, but mad at Genji and coordinated play. A tip for me, if you have natural talents towards hit scan, you probably want to start pushing towards hit scan, being honest. Like, if you want to push to be the best you can be, do not resist your natural talents. It's something of a hard thing to admit. Like, if you really love playing Genji, but it's like, man, every time I play McCree, I'm just destroying everyone, you probably want to go, huh, I'm actually really good at McCree, maybe I should focus more on this, and sort of developing from there. Asex made a video about leaving voice chat. Any thoughts? So, it was a long time ago, yeah, and I start pushing against it now, especially on your like higher level. Especially on like at your level, get into voice chat. The higher you go in EU, usually the better it gets until about like low masters. Low masters is when it starts falling apart. But yeah, I'd like to see Rascal yesterday. Bummer. Yeah, that's always one of the downsides. You see, started London Spitfire video, even better. I helped incept a meme with London Spitfire. I'm so fucking proud. If I go to my notifications, it's probably easier. So proud of this. I'm so happy that Spitfire did it. Here we go. So, if you aren't aware, in the UK, there's a TV show called EastEnders, and basically, Jesse was watching EastEnders and quoting it, which is EastEnders is set in London, set in the East End of London. They have very sort of urban accents, and one of the characters called Peggy Mitchell used to shout at people, "Get out of my pub!" And so people made this.
Get out of my pub! Get out of my pub! Get out of my pub!
And just like making Jesse shout, "Get out of my pub!" with his fucking flank. It was beautiful. What players do you think should be in Overwatch League at the moment? I think not having the Runaway roster is a huge loss. There's a lot of Apex teams that, yeah, but not having Runaway is interesting, shall we say. Like, they're one of the favourites and play extremely well and have a beautiful shade of pink for their colour. But yeah, like, especially with how like Apex is sort of shut down and wound down because it's becoming Contender's career, and it's like the thing that I think Blizzard is scared of is they don't want Contender's career to be the #1 place with high-level Overwatch. There is a very real risk of that happening. It's why I think Overwatch League is fine with stuff like London Spitfire picking up Korean teams, because the worst thing that can happen is they pour all this attention and focus and put everyone's eyes on Overwatch League, and then it turns out, oh wait, it's like how it is in League of Legends, for example. Like, all the money and all the attention goes towards the LCS and the American scene for that, the NACS. But when it comes to Worlds, it's just the Koreans just smash everyone because they're just way better at the game. And so that's always sort of the scary part. Can you evaluate when Lucio is good for a team when you're not? Checklists. Are you playing on Control or King of the Hill? If the answer is no, do not play Lucio. If you are playing on King of the Hill, play Lucio. That seems to be what's sort of bubbling out. Lucio is very good as well if you have a Reaper. Like, he just needs the speed boost to work, and so if you play around with the Reaper, that's when you're playing more rushdown style. Also, if you're playing with a Reinhardt, because it just helps Reinhardt get around. But yeah. Do you think Florida's only having 6 players is going to cause problems? Yes. I too am trying to just go watch the Tracer video. It's too much to go through now. I'm going to round it out now because I only have 5 minutes. I play with 2 friends. One plays healer, the other plays tank. I play Widow. Which tank and healer will go well with my Widow? One plays healer, one plays tank, and I play Widow. Which tank and healer will go? Winston and Mercy are the obvious ones. If not, Winston, Zenyatta. I know I'm just quoting like the meta at you, but it works very nicely. Orisa Widow can work very effectively on defense. You just sort of plonk the Widow behind the Orisa barrier, and you just rely on that. Or you get the game I had not too long ago on Watchpoint Gibraltar, where we had a Reinhardt, and I thought, oh, I'll just stand behind Reinhardt and shoot their Widowmaker when she pops up, and Reinhardt didn't raise his barrier, and I got my head blown off. That was fun. That was very fun. Tip for ult tracking, just keep practicing it. Because I already mentioned Ryu Jae-hong.